The Vox emitters scream to life as impacts rattle the cargo vessel. The ship is being boarded. After spending months traversing the immaterial, the exhausted Imperial Navy breachers now find themselves preparing to repel an assault. All the while, an arbites Exaction squad continues moving through the ship, searching for the reported heretical cargo and executing any crew members they come across. Will the Imperial Navy breachers be able to repel the boarders and re-secure their vessel, or will the arbites Exaction squad eliminate them and seize the vile contraband?
Hey there guys, Blaine here, back at it with another battle report for you guys, bringing in the Exaction squad this time. I decided to bring the Proctor Exactant, that's the leader model, with the shield and the maul, as well as 2 subductors, the dog, the medic, castigator, the leashmaster, the mallecator, the revelatum, the marksman, and the vox signifier, who is the comms unit. I know, a lot of different names. For my equipment, I decided to bring 2 shot pistols on 2 of the different subductors, just to give them some form of shooting, as well as 5 phosphor elements on the leader, the 2 subductors, the castigator, and the leashmaster, and the revelatum's got a crack grenade.
Hello everybody, welcome to the battle report. My name is Ethan, and I will be bringing Nate's Navy Imperial Breachers today. For units, my Sergeant at Arms is going to have the Heirloom Auto Pistol and the Chainsword. He's going to be accompanied with the Armsman, the Akshack, the Endurance, the Geist Skull, the Cat Drone, Grenadier. One gunner is going to be Plasma, and the other one is going to be a Melta, the Hatch Cutter, the Surveyor, and the Void Jammer. For my team's equipment, it's really simple. Everybody but the Endurance and the Surveyor have a stim to increase their maximum health. The Akshack is going to have a system override device, which will let me open a door at the start of the game. Today's mission will be battled on Close Quarters Map 6, presented by Luster's Workshop in their terrain pack for LVO 2024, and the mission type will be Capture.
For my barricades, I decided to place the first one in the large open room on the right on that objective, just to give myself a little bit of cover in case Ethan's gunners decided to move that direction.
For my first barricade, I'm going to put it right in that center room on the objective itself.
For my second barricade, I decided to place it on the same objective Ethan placed his first one on, just to give myself a little bit more cover entering the room on that side.
My second barricade is going to mirror Blaine's first one, where I'm just going to put it on the room to the right, on the objective way off to the side. For deployment, my first group consists of the Akshack, the Grenadier, the Armsman, and the Void Jammer.
For my first group for deployment, I decided to place my Proctor Exactant and both my subductors right next to doorways on conceal orders.
My second group is going to be the Surveyor, the Endurance, the Hatch Cutter, and my Melt-A-Gun, the Gunner.
My second group for deployment included the dog on an engage order, and the medic, castigator, and leashmaster were all concealed.
And finally, I'm going to put down my Plasma Gunner, my Sergeant at Arms leader, and last but not least, the 2 drones, the Geist Skull and the Cat.
My final group for deployment included the mallecator, the marksman, the comms, and finally the revelatum on an engage order. After deployment, I decided to go with Swift for the attack pattern with the leashmaster and dog. That gives the dog 2 extra inches of movement to his characteristic. We finally move on to scouting. Ethan reveals an order flip, aka infiltrate, and I choose to get the extra barricade, aka fortify, to give myself a little bit of protection on that middle objective.
Before we actually get into turning point 1, we have 2 special abilities that go off here. I'm going to end up opening the door with the Akshack's system override device, and then Blaine's Revelatum is going to use the first in the field ability to move up to the center room door. So, Imperial Navy Breachers. I have played them once in a kind of practice game for this, so if there's ever a moment where it seems like I'm missing something, bear with me. I might catch it, a little bit later on in the turning point. But I have a couple things I think that I can do for the beginning. One of them being kind of stalling Blaine out by taking the top point and the close point near me to kind of see where he's moving things to possibly prevent getting cracked in the first turning point. I'd like the hatch cutter to maybe weld the door, because I think it'd be pretty cool, and maybe shut off Blaine for like a whole nother turning point from him pushing me in one spot, because I can then just spend more time repositioning people, especially getting that guy's skull off turning point 2. If I can get initiative and then do the breach and clear to GA2, then I can, combine the 2 units there, hopefully get at least 3 hit with the guy's skull. I'd feel pretty comfortable with that doing damage. Couple things I know I have to watch out for is the dog and the leash master with their GA2. I've seen some pretty good shenanigans with that. Otherwise, capture, I think it's going to be a little bit slow. First turning point, I don't anticipate more than like 2 attacks. I'll maybe get a guy with my plasma, but we'll see. I don't want to give Blaine like too much opportunity in the beginning, and I just have to think about setting up turning point 2, giving myself options.
All right, going into this first turning point here, Exaction versus Breachers. This is an interesting matchup for sure, because both teams are super close quarters, and it's into the dartboard. So, I think I anticipated Ethan opening that door closer to his side of the board, just that way it would give him a little bit of ease going into this first turning point. But I did prepare for him opening my door and alpha striking my deployment just a little bit by moving my or having my medic deployed where he was. So otherwise, at this point, I'm just trying to go into this first turning point, pressuring where I can with the Revelatum, the dog, and the marksman, and planting the subductors on some points, and just trying to get a good turning point 2 set up. So that way, maybe I can be super aggressive, where Ethan is probably going to be aggressive in this first turning point, with his gunners and having an order flip, and just being able to like GA2 and stuff like that. So we'll have to see how it goes, but otherwise, let's get this shotgun showdown on the road.
With the first strategy phase underway, Blaine is going to choose Swift as his first attack pattern for the Mastiff. I am then going to choose an attack order with my leader, and I'm going to place that token on Blaine's barricade in the center room, the far one from my deployment. For attack op reveal, I choose to reveal nothing, and Blaine reveals his faction attack op number 2, Contain Threat. I start the game with something nice and simple, just using my armsman to open the door and occupy the room to the right.
My first activation, the turning point 1, will be to move one of my subductors into the room on the left.
Thanks to the armsman of my previous activation, the axe jack is then able to move and dash onto the objective on the far right.
My second subductor then will open the door and move onto the nearby corner in the adjacent room.
I move and dash my Sergeant-at-Arms up to the farthest door on my left.
My next activation will be my Mallocator, who's going to move into the room on the left and open the far door for free.
The cat drone is just going to roll itself onto the objective on the left side.
My leader will then move and dash onto the far right objective behind the barricade I placed there at the beginning.
It's about that time, and my Voidjammer is going to move up and open the door to the center room.
To follow this up, I activate my Leash Master, who's going to open the door to the center room and move on to the closest objective to my deployment.
With my Endurance being pretty tanky, I move him to the center room and staying safe on a barricade.
My next activation will be my Medic, who's going to move into the room on the left through the open door and tuck into the corner by the door to the center room.
Seeing an opportunity to better take that center room, I move and dash my Axe Jack just onto Blaine's barricade.
My Cascader will finally activate, moving into the room on the right, next to the Subductor and my leader already in that room.
In an attempt to kind of shut down Blaine's movement, I move my Plasma Gunner up to the doorway near the Voidjammer and I put him on guard.
To react to this, my Marksman's going to dash up to the doorway in the center room and take a silent shot at Ethan's Plasma Gunner. I roll 3 normal hits. I CP reroll the fail back into a fail, leaving me with 3 CP remaining. Ethan saves 1 for cover and rolls another save, taking a total of 4 damage.
The Geist Skull, curious about what just happened, moves up right behind the injured gunner.
Next, my Vox signifier, aka comms, is going to move into the adjacent room and give the Castigator another APL for the following turning point.
I move and dash my Grenadier next to the leader to back him up.
This next activation takes a little bit to set up, but it's going to be the Revelatum moving backwards to get a non-reciprocal shot on the Plasma Gunner through both doorways. I end up rolling 1 hit and 1 critical hit. Ethan then takes 1 normal save for cover and rolls the crit he needed to take no damage.
I add some even more offensive pressure to the center room and move my Melta behind the Endurance.
For my final activation of this turning point, I move my dog into the room on the left next to the Mallecator in hopes of getting a turn 2 charge.
And last but not least, we have the Void Jammer, who's just going to move to the nearby closed door for the center room. We have some low rolls for initiative turning point 2, but the tie is going to go to Blaine. At the end of turning point 1, we have a very close game. Blaine has 3 primaries. He got 1 secondary from Secure Centerline, has all of his models remaining, and 3 CP remaining. I, however, have 3 primary, 0 secondary, all of my models remaining, and 4 CP remaining.
All right, finishing up turning point 1, I did some chip damage on the Plasma Gunner. I really wish that he would have just died because it would have been 1 less threat for this turning point. Especially when there's a Melta and a shield right in that room that he's in front of. But otherwise, there's a lot that can happen. There's a lot that I tried to set up, so we'll kind of see how it plays out. I could do one of 3 things. I could use the dog and charge up to the Axe Jack on the far left side of the board and see if we can get a kill there. I can use the Castigator, move and open the door and shoot his either his Grenadier or his leader with the shotgun, which I'm kind of hesitant about because the leader needs 3 hits with the shotgun or melee, while the Grenadier only needs 2, so it can kind of go either way. And then the Revelatum or the Marksman could try to take out the Plasma, which I'm kind of leaning towards, but I know that Grenadier's coming through that door probably this turning point, or this first activation, so I'm kind of nervous to let that go through. We'll just have to see what plays out, see what ploys Ethan uses to react to, so we will see.
Turning point 2, I'm feeling pretty decent. I think even though Blaine has initiative, I'm going to give him 2 options, basically. 1, he can move with his leader and all the guys in that room up towards my room and possibly get attack off, or at least tie that area up so I can't move in the demo mine. But alternatively, my Melta and the shield guy is going to. I'm gonna possibly make Melta Executioner. I'm gonna make the guy with the cuffs eliminate guards, and then I have faction tac op 3, which will tie into Breach and Clear and Blitz, essentially either stealing a point and getting a kill, or getting 2 kills with those 2 units. So this way I can give Blaine basically a choice between 2 bad things, which is really all you want to do at the beginning of turning point 2, is to aim for something like that. And then the rest of it will be kind of reactionary between both of us. We're going to be trading. I don't think the hatchway cutter is going to be able to block that door efficiently, but he might be able to get into a decent fight with the shield guy, because I'm assuming that's what he's going to get tied up with. The rest of the map is kind of wishy-washy. We'll see what happens, but I'm feeling decent about turning point 2. We all saw this coming. Turning point 2 strategic phase gets pretty busy. Blaine's going to start with Guilt Reveals Itself, so no cover within 4 inches of his units. I am then going to use Brace for counterattack, so -1 damage if the unit hasn't moved. Blaine's going to follow up with Terminal Decree, so re-rolling a shooting die within 4 inches. I'm then going to move my attack order to the open room on Blaine's right. Blaine's going to pass, and then I'm going to end it with Close Assault, so within 3 inches, 2 successful hits give 1 fail to a normal hit. A lot of reveals for tac ops as well. Blaine's going to start with Secure Centerline. I'm then going to follow it up with Eliminate Guards. Blaine's going to pick Central Control. I will reveal Executioner. And then I will also reveal Faction Tac Op 3 Counteract. Now my eliminate guards is going to be the leash master in the center room, and my executioner will be the Melta who will execute the leash master.
To start off this turning point strong, I activate my castigator first with the extra APL. I move him up to where the grenadier is in the doorway, open the door, and decide to take a shotgun blast to the face to the grenadier. I roll 2 hits and a crit, using my 1 reroll for this action into another hit. Ethan saves 1 die initially, and the model dies.
Alright, time to score some secondaries. So I'm going to use Blitz and Breach and Clear here, so I get GA2 and I get some retained dice. I'm going to move my Melta up, and I am going to insta-kill that Leash Master. This will score me both Eliminate Guards and Executioner. I'm then going to immediately activate the Plasma Gunner, who's going to use Clear Head to get rid of his injury. Supercharged, I'm shooting the Revelatum. I get 3 crits and 1 hit, meaning it is basically unsavable, and Blaine ends up taking 18 damage, which will get me Faction Tac Op 3 as well.
To follow up that devastating play that Ethan made, I activate my Mallocator, who's going to shoot into the Hatch Cutter. I get 1 crit, my reroll gives me another hit. I CP reroll into a miss, so I'm down to 1 CP. Ethan saves both, the hit and the crit.
The Hatch Cutter goes in for some immediate revenge on the Mallocator. I end up rolling 2 crits, but Close Assault actually turns one of those into a hit, and then Rending turns that into a crit as well. Blaine gets 1 hit and 1 crit, so I end up hitting him for 5, he hits me for 2, I hit for 5, and kill.
My next activation will be one of my Subductors, who's going to charge and fight the Hatch Cutter. Now we did end up forgetting to record the dice mat video for this attack, but the Subductor ends up doing 3 damage after damage reduction to the Hatch Cutter.
I'm going to charge my Sergeant at Arms into Blaine's Castigator for a hatchway fight here. I get 2 crits and 1 hit, but I retain the fail as another hit. Blaine also gets 2 crits and a hit, but one of them becomes a crit as well with Rending. I start by hitting for 6 damage, and Blaine rolls his Feel No Pains. Unfortunately, he gets no saves on those. Blaine then hits me for 4 and stuns out of normal. I hit him again for another 6, and he rolls Feel No Pains, and is not able to roll enough to save.
My next activation is going to be with the dog, who's going to charge into the Hatch Cutter. I end up rolling 1 crit and 1 hit, Rending turning that into 2 crits. I CP reroll to try and parry out and kill the Hatch Cutter, but roll a 2, leaving me at 0 CP. I then start by hitting Ethan for 5, which becomes 4 with his damage reduction. Ethan's Hatch Cutter then hits back for a whopping 5 to the dog. I then use the dog's other crit to hit for 4 damage and kill.
My Endurance is going to turn and try to finish off the dog by shooting. I end up only getting 1 hit, and that gets saved by cover, so that didn't work out. With his other APL, I move him up onto the point that the Multi-Gunner took.
I then activate the Marksman, who's going to move up to the door and shoot the Melta who's on the objective. Since I'm within 4, I get a reroll here. I get 2 hits and reroll into a 3rd. Ethan then saves 1 of those 3 hits and takes a whopping 8 damage, down to 1 wound remaining.
In another bout of revenge, my Void Jammer is going to move up and shoot the Marksman. Unfortunately, we missed the roll, but I ended up getting 2 hits through for 6 damage.
I then move my Vox Signifier up and give APL to the leader.
To make Blaine waste some APL, I'm going to move the Surveyor up and just close that door in front of him.
To follow up this cowardly move by Ethan, I decide to move my leader up to the door and open it.
It's about time I start moving my Axe Jack up on the board on my right flank.
To now take advantage of my previous activation, my Subductor on the corner is going to move into range and shoot his leader with the shot pistol. I get 2 hits, rerolling 1 for my ploy, into a crit, which will actually activate P1 since my leader's within 2. Ethan then gets no saves, and the leader dies from this.
Seeing its leader fall, the cat drone moves up and tries to block the way from all of Blaine's units.
My next activation will be my medic, who's going to shoot the axe jack through the doorway. I get 2 hits and reroll 1 fail into a crit. Ethan then ends up saving all 3 again.
With not much he can do, my armorsman is just going to move up and try to shoot the medic with a long-range profile. Hits on 5, so it misses everything.
Since I'm out of activations, I'd go ahead and use my marksman to take an overwatch shot into the Melta. I only get 1 hit, but because I'm hitting on 5s with injury, it ends up becoming a crit with lethal 5-up, which deals 3 mortal wounds and just outright kills the Melta gunner.
Lastly, I'm going to try to move up my Geist Skull into the center room and hope for a turn 3 initiative. Here we are at the initiative roll, and I roll a 6. Guarantee it for turning point 3. In turning point 2, we see a slight point shift. Blaine has 6 points for primaries, 1 for secondary yet, 7 out of 11 models, and 0 CP remaining. I have 5 primary objective, 3 secondary, 8 out of my 12, and still 0 CP remaining. I don't think I get to often say this, but that was a really good turning point 2 for me. I got kind of bonkers attack and defense rolls. Blaine just could not get enough hits when he needed to, and then I was rolling crits. Plus, having the ploy for the 2 hits makes 1 fail into a hit. I was just doing so much damage. Top that with getting initiative this turning point. I'm looking at getting eliminate guards and my second point for the faction tack up, because with the Geist Skull right there, I just do my breach and clear to activate first the Geist Skull guy, the jammer, and then blow up the Geist Skull. I can pop Blitz on that, provided we double check the rules. It should count, so I will auto kill the dog, which counts as that 1 kill there. And then the Endurant just moves over. Oh, actually, he can stay where he is. Shoot the sniper with Relentless. He needs 2 damage, so he needs 1 die to go through. Provided I don't get something crazy terrible, that'll be 2 points right there. It'll neutralize the 1 on my side, basically giving me that middle room. If I can somehow also kill the other guy next to the dog, that would just be even better. Then Axe Jack can come in, kill the medic. I could take that point back there too. I can let Blaine move his 3 guys on the bottom of the map. They still have to go through the door. I think by then it's just going to be too late, and he's not going to be able to have enough bodies to do anything. Even if my guys are starting to hurt, I'll deny him central control and center line. Basically looking pretty good from where I'm standing, especially with initiative.
Going on to turning point 3 here. Turning point 2 started very poorly for me. Lots of failed dice rolls, lots of just death on my part. I pretty much lost that center room almost, and I'm probably going to lose it now since Ethan has initiative and can probably kill at least 2 of the 3 models I have in there. First activation. So I kind of have to focus on the 2 side rooms and hope that I can just score my secondaries somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I was trying something different. So we'll see what happens. I don't think I'm spending any CP here because I want to try to maybe counter shoot if he somehow misses on the marksman. We'll see. Who knows? But let's get right into it and probably lose the game.
In a stark contrast from turning point 2, both myself and Blaine pass on ploys and just retain our CP, and we have no more tac ops to reveal either. Just like with turning point 2, I'm going to start by using breach and clear and blitz, so I get the GA2 and some retained dice. I'm going to start with the Void Jammer, who's able to move and explode the Geist Skull with his activation. Hitting both the dog and the Subductor, we start with the dog, where I auto-retain a crit and hit. The other 2 dice end up missing, but Blaine is unable to save the Mastiff. The second attack going into the Subductor, I auto-retain my crit and hit. Lethal 3 makes the 2 hits into crits. Blaine's able to save 1 hit, but decides to CP roll, needing a crit here to survive, and he actually does get it, meaning he will survive with 2 wounds. So with the last APL, I just charged the Void Jammer into him. Alright, so now the second activation with my Breach and Clear is going to be the Endurance shooting into the Marksman to try to finish him off. My initial roll only gives me 1 hit, but because he gets Relentless, I can reroll those fails into an additional crit and hit here. Blaine's only able to save the crit, so the Endurant ends up killing. That'll score me Eliminate Guards and the second point for Faction Attack Out 3, after which my Endurant is then going to reposition to the objective behind cover.
Once again, following up a devastating attack by Ethan, I activate my medic, who's going to shoot into the Extract once again to try to finish him off. I get 3 normal hits. Ethan, of course, saves 2 of them and only takes 4 damage. Then I barely have to edge my medic to charge the Extract and tie him up.
Defensively here, I'm going to take my Plasma and move him barely onto the point and put him in Conceal.
To follow this up, I activate my leader, who's going to hatchway fight the Surveyor. I ended up getting 3 normal hits. Ethan gets 1 crit. I then hit for 4. Ethan then hits for 4. I then hit for 4, which does kill the Surveyor. To finish off the activation, I charge the Cat Drone so that way I can remain on the objective.
Trying out a new strategy this turning point, the Armsman's going to fight the medic by charging him. I end up getting just 2 normal hits. Blaine rolls 1 hit and 1 crit, respectively. I do 3 damage, Blaine parries and does 2 damage back to me.
My next activation is going to be the Subductor, who is next to the leader. I move and dash him past the Cat Drone, since the leader is in engagement range with him, towards the center room door.
I then activate my Axe Jack and fight the medic. Thanks to combat support from the Armsman prior, he gets 2 hits and a crit. With the crit being just enough damage, it will auto-kill him. With my right flank feeling a lot more safe, I then move him into the objective in the center room.
My second to last activation is my Vox Signifier, again moving and giving his APL to the leader.
The Cat Drone, having seen people fall left and right, just starts to run away back to the deployment zone.
To finish off this third turning point, I activate the injured Subductor in the middle room, who's going to fight the Void Jammer. I get 1 crit. Ethan rolls 1 crit and 1 hit. And to try to live, I end up double parrying and no damage is dealt.
Last initiative roll of the game. Despite us both rolling 6s, the tie will go to Blaine. Turning point 3 was also quite bloody. We have 8 primaries for Blaine, 1 secondary yet, 4 out of 11 models, and 0 CP remaining. While I have 9 primary, 5 for my secondary, and half of my team, 6 models, and 0 CP remaining.
What can I say? At this point, I know that I've lost. There's no way for me to score enough secondaries, even if I pull it back with the primaries. But I will do my best and give it a good old finish for that shotgun showdown that I was talking about. My primary goal here is simply just to use my Subductor and my leader in the other room, just to try to clear, hopefully get into the middle and clear some stuff. I don't know if it's going to be happening, but we will just have to see and hope for the best on my dice rolls. Maybe Ethan just bails everything again and I can maybe somehow scrounge on a couple more points. So we will see.
Well, guys, it's looking like it's probably over. I'm not sure what Blaine said, but I'm assuming his plan is to move as many guys in that middle room as he can. Probably just go for kills for the sake of it. Maybe hypothetically get center line or central control with like 1 guy or something and clear me off. I'll have the points in the back. I'm looking at probably at least guaranteed 3. It'll be a fight to see if it's like a 4-2 split or a 3-3. but there's really only so much that can happen in this last turning point. Very similar to the strategy phase for turning point 3, both of us are just going to hang on to our CP, and we have no more tac ops to reveal.
To start off this last turning point here, I'm going to activate my Vox Signifier, who's going to move on to the objective and give APL to the subductor next to him.
To force Blaine into a potentially bad position, I move my gunner around the barricade so that he's barely within an inch of it, meaning he can't just charge me from the other side.
I then activate the subductor, fighting the Void Jammer. I end up getting 1 hit, Ethan gets 2 hits. I then hit for 4 with that normal hit. Ethan then hits back for 6 total damage. I then spend the CP here, which will be my last CP remaining, for Brutal Backup, which is a tactical ploy that allows me to fight with a second operative who provided combat support to the first operative. I use the other subductor to fight the Void Jammer for now the 3rd time this game. Hitting on 5s due to injury, I do end up rolling a crit, which will kill in 1 hit, finally removing the Void Jammer off the table.
My armsman, this time hitting on 4s again, is going to use Blitz to get 1 auto-retain hit, ends up rolling another hit and crit as well. Blaine is only able to roll the 1 save, so the remaining damage will kill that subductor.
To follow this up, my leader will move into the room onto the objective and closes the nearby door to keep the cat from moving in.
Due to Blaine's phosphor lumens, I won't get rerolls for this, but I'm going to use my Endurance to shoot Blaine's leader. I end up getting 2 hits. Blaine rolls 1 save, meaning the leader will take 3 damage, but end up living.
Since I am now out of activations once again, I am on Overwatch, which I promptly take with the Vox Signifier into the cat drone. I get 2 hits and 1 crit. Ethan only gets 1 save. 8 damage goes through and does destroy the drone.
After Blaine unnecessarily slaughters my cat drone, I then use my axe jack to shoot his leader and try to finish him off. I do get 1 crit here. Unfortunately, Blaine does get 3 saves and he'll live another day. And with that, the Exaction Squad versus Imperial Navy Breachers game is over. Blaine scores 11 primary, 1 secondary, 3 models remaining, and ends up with a total score of 12. While I score 12 for my primary, 5 for my secondary, with 4 models remaining, putting my score at 70, meaning that the Breachers were successful in today's defense campaign. Welcome, guys. Post-game battle report discussion. We had a pretty combative game here with Navy Breachers and Exaction Squad.
Yep. Good old shotgun showdown. Yeah.
That's right.
Close quarters teams and close quarters sport.
There's all shotguns, like 2 pistols.
Yeah, a couple of pistols.
Oh, that's true. It's a sniper, and
I think there were max were only 4 out of 23 operatives had long range shooting. So
yeah. No grenades. We both killed each other's grenade guys before they could do anything. So didn't get no into the arc blast or anything like that. Couple AP2 stuff, but beginning of the game was pretty even. I mean, you had done some damage to me, missed a little bit.
Yeah, I think things would have been a little different if I would have been able to kill that plasma turn 1 like I wanted to.
Yeah.
It definitely would have put me in a better spot going into turning point 2. Just giving you less options to kill stuff with.
Yeah. And I was looking at turning point 2, the board, and I was like, well, he has initiative, and he's probably going to take that close side by me, that big open room.
Yeah.
Like that's what I do.
I definitely, like, that was higher on the priority list, mainly because you didn't have very much in there, and I had to kill that grenade. I had to. Otherwise, I was giving you a 2-for-1 over there, and that would not been okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I had a chance of surviving that, and I could have denied you 3 points on your tac ops.
True.
By moving my leash master out. Who knows? You know, it's all up in the air. Maybe I could have played things differently and stopped you from getting ahead so quick.
Right. I do think it came down to dice to a decent degree.
Yeah.
There were so many times where I was getting like triple crits or whatever, and like the ploy helped multiple times, and then
I was just rolling awful on most of my shooting attacks, and my saves were like should have been average to save me, and they were. They were just below average, and I was done. So
and that was letting me get basically kill after kill after you push in and barely miss.
Yep.
And then it was just too many bodies, and you had to redirect guys from like your close side to the middle room.
Yeah, and it took, I think personally, I probably overcommitted to that far side a little bit, because at one point I had 4 guys over there.
Yeah.
So it was a little under half my team. And it took me so long to get all the way around that it almost wasn't worth pushing that one objective that hard. I maybe should have pushed 4 guys in the middle, prevented you from getting some more rerolls, maybe pressured some some engagement ranges, right? Yeah. And honestly, looking back at it, I think I probably had a decent game if it weren't for the most.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I felt pretty decent with how I played them. I felt like I did some of the combos that breachers can do. I mean, we had done one.
Most of the things that they have access to, rather than like maybe the cat drone didn't do much.
True, cat drone didn't do much. I did want to also breach, or I wanted to weld. This door.
Okay.
That's why he moved up with the head.
Okay.
But it wasn't really worth it when you had a guy already on the door. Yeah, I was like trying to maybe stem or keep you from flowing into the room like that.
Sure.
But it didn't really come up. Like there was other important stuff that took priority. So that's like the one thing we didn't really get to see.
I think personally, I also should have kept the dog and leash master together. Maybe pushing them up on this closer side to me, pressuring that hatch or that axe jack a little bit, and then taking this back corner objective from you. I think definitely was at least a more aggressive play.
Yeah.
And I messed up a little bit.
I certainly considered it.
Yeah, well, and I didn't have my leash master over here.
Yeah.
I put him, like, first activation, I put him in the middle of the room.
Right.
And that was kind of a mistake on mine, for sure.
Because the leash master and the dog combined can do quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You've seen that in other games, so it was a bit of a shame that you weren't able to at least do it once.
Yeah, I mean, I tried, dog did get a kill, so...
Yeah, actually, the dog did get a kill. It survived a shot as well.
Yep.
And then the guy's skull, blew it up into pieces. So, you win some, you lose some.
For sure.
But overall, I guess I can only win into the dark games.
And I can only win open.
And that's, I guess, okay with me. We got to do more into the dark. So, yeah,
Going on to the Into the Dark terrain that we used, I guess I can showcase pieces of it.
Rip a chunk off.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, like, this is the stuff that we're using, and this is just a little wall segment. And we did showcase it in our last video as open board terrain. It is from Dakota Luster in California. He has his own Etsy shop. He produced, he designed and produced this terrain for us and let us, get it for free and test it out and try it. It's modular terrain that can go open board or into the dark. As seen in both of our games here.
Yeah, the previous one was open board, so now we used it for Infitter.
So if you're looking for a set, I know it's on sale right now on his website, or on his Etsy link.
Depends on how long the sale goes.
Yeah. I mean, he might run out, but I know he's updating and doing new versions of this terrain. So
watch for it, because he does sales.
Oh yeah, he also does discounts and stuff. So,
and we've been looking at recommendations for what people want to see. Largely, we have just been doing like every new team, every video. But
I know I had actually put out a Reddit post on our channel for suggestions, and somebody actually came up with Exaction Squad versus Breachers. Is what they called it, the Shotgun Showdown. That's why I keep saying that.
Yeah.
So kudos to that guy. It was a very fun match. And we decided to do it one step further and do Into the Dark just to keep the thing going. So if anybody else has any suggestions, any matchups they'd like to see, even if it's repeats of the teams that we've already used, or a repeat of even the matchup, just to see maybe a different outcome, definitely let us know.
Might take a couple months, but your odds are high.
Oh yeah,
we're only gonna see
exactly. Yeah. So just watch Reddit, watch Instagram, and on here on YouTube, we might do polls. So otherwise, I think that's all we've got. So
Yeah.
have a wonderful day, guys, and keep watching our content. It really helps.
Dragon Feather Shop sets out to become a great destination for handmade wargame, board game, nerdy, and pop culture products. As a family-owned business, they've been selling hand-sculpted resin-cast wargame bases on eBay for over a decade, and now they're spreading their wings and introducing new products. One of their newest creations are these 3D printed measuring tools that are designed with kill team enthusiasts in mind. These lightweight yet sturdy tools come on a chain for easy access during your games, with clear square, triangle, and circle symbols for kill team. Precision measuring has never been easier. You can choose from one of their faction-specific designs or go all out with a custom design tailored just for you, like these exclusive 6-sided Legion ones. Swing by their website and discover the handmade wonders of Dragon Feather Shop. You can find them by going to dragonfeather.shop or by searching Dragon Feather Shop.